Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do a toy video in the model shed, and what we're going to talk about is the Cozy Coupe. And I recently acquired the dollhouse version, which is roughly about 1/12 scale. You have to excuse my 1/12 scale Cobra Commander for size reference, but he would technically fit in it since dollhouses are 1/12 and the little Tykes dollhouse people are roughly 1/12 scale. But I did finally acquire one, really in good shape and everything. If you don't know about the Cozy Coupe, personally, I love them. I actually refurbish the bigger ones for the toddlers, and I like to repaint them and do custom things on those, which I should hopefully one day probably do a video on that. But the Cozy Coupe, if you don't know, about 1979, 78, 79, a gentleman by the name of Jim Marinol, he basically created the Cozy Coupe, built the prototype, and I think they call it a foot-to-floor model. That's not a pedal car, but it's a the kids' feet are doing the pedaling, so not it is a pedal car, but not either. And his design is exactly like this one, the old one with the I want to say round brackets and everything. But there's one variant on his that's different. His Cozy Coupe was red with a red top, but the top here was solid black. And when he sent the little Tykes, the little Tykes wanted the Cozy Coupe. They didn't want the black top because that was pretty much like reminiscence of the cars at the time. But they wanted a yellow top, and I guess they decided to do that, and all of a sudden, 40 years later, you got the same, pretty much the same version of the Cozy Coupe. So anyway, that was, and the one other little history note is it is the #1 selling car in the world. It outsells pretty much all gasoline engines. But if you actually do all the technicality math and everything, it's like number I mean it's up there with the F-150, the Toyota Camry, and I think it pretty much smokes small. But anyway, I did acquire these. I was really excited. I do have the Hallmark ornament. There is I don't have it handy, and I'll have to do a video on digital models, which I ain't figured out how to you buy them on the file, but how to keep them. They do make a digital 3D printed kit of the Cozy Coupe. And while I found that, I also found a little version. And this one is basically, I call it the late 70s, 80s model. If you can tell how that's redesigned, that was the next one after this. They kind of redesigned it, made everything, they made these thicker instead of just the poles. And honestly, that's the version I prefer on all of them. I think it's stout, and you can, if you're doing a custom Cozy Coupes, that's the one to go with, because I think it can be almost anything. But I didn't have this one, so I went ahead and picked that up as well to go with my little Cozy Coupe collection. There's also a cartoon, an animated show, which I haven't got them yet. I really ain't seen the show either. Ain't had time, but hopefully to find those. And I've showed them before in the past in the shed, but you can get, a little Cozy Coupes. That's the paint your own, which I want to say it's not. I wish it was kind of vinyl, but it's kind of more of a plaster type material. But anyway, it's pretty solid. And then this is I call it the third version. So you have old school, late 70s, 80s, basically jump into the 90s. And then into the 2000s, you hit into the ones with the eyes, which don't know if it coincide with Cars when the movie came out and they decided to add eyes, or did they add eyes first? Who knows? But anyway, that's the paint your own Cozy Coupe, and a variant of that. And I only found it one time, and of course it was at Ollie's. a 3-pack of the Little Tykes Cozy Coupe. Plus you get the turtle and the phone, which are iconic. And Mr. Jim Mirinol, he created the Cozy Coupe, created the kids' kitchen. There's lots of stuff that he's done, but he is credited for that. And it's one of those little side hobbies that you like to add to your collection, make yours unique and special, is what I like to call it. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I got going on today. We are adding some Cozy Coupes to not the Ark, the Ark 2. So that's what we got going on today. Stay tuned for next exciting episode.